I'm here today with Ardel Brown, and we'll be looking at his car collection. Ardel, this is quite the man cave that you have here.
Well, it's taken a little while to get it developed and fill it up, but it's pretty full.
So roughly how many cars do you have in this shop?
In this building, there's about 75 cars in here.
And then it looks like they're all across the eras. If you have some fairly old and then fairly recent.
We've got a little bit of everything. Mostly old, but we do have a few fairly new ones.
Well, maybe we could take a walk through and maybe tell some stories about some of your favorite cars. And
yeah, we love them all. So they're all favorites.
Okay. This 1938 Ford, what is this?
This is a 38 Ford 5-window coupe that's been totally customized. It, like most of these, has a Chevy engine in it, and power steering and power brakes and air conditioning and leather interior, and of course custom paint and tires and wheels.
Are you restoring these when you buy them then, or?
We try and buy them pretty well done. We used to do some restorations, but that's way too much work. I got way too old for that quick.
Now these are, a lot of this collection is actively moving then. Is that you participating in a number of car shows? Or?
Yeah, we're trying to upgrade, and actually lately we've actually been selling a few. I'm trying to maybe thin the herd a little bit.
The last recent years, I guess since the last decade, cars have really increased in value.
Yeah, they're going up all the time.
And when you look at that,
classic cars are going up, not the new ones.
What do you think's driving that market?
Collectors. There's a lot more guys out there now collecting and wanting to save them, wanting to keep them around. And I think this is the tip of the iceberg.
How many years have you been collecting cars for?
Well, actually about 17 or 18, really collecting. Probably for the last 50, I've had a few.
What got you started in collecting?
No, actually, I started out selling cars when I was about 20, and been doing that for probably 60 years now. And we'd run into one we want to keep, so we'd make keepers out of a few of them.
Tell me a little bit about this car. How long you've had it?
We've had this probably 15, 16 years. It was a fresh restoration. Everything had been done on it. It runs and drives very nicely, and it's a roadster with a back seat back there, which is an extremely rare floor plan. You just don't see many of those, and they call that a mother-in-law seat. So the couple could ride up front and put the mother in the back.
And there's no windows or doors. So.
No windows or doors.
Or seat belt.
Yep.
For that matter. So I guess, you get
the same model with a pickup box back here too. Or they had some models that had a back seat back here, and then the top went back further.
So recently,
they were pretty innovative back in those years.
Recently at auctions, these would be valued at about what right now?
Oh, this car would be probably somewhere around $60,000.
A lot more than when they first came out.
They were around 500, I think, when they came out. 495, stuff like that.
Okay.
That's true with most of the cars we have. They're worth 10 to 20 times what they were when they were new.
Now, as you go through the process of collecting cars, how do you decide, I want to keep this one and I want to flip this one over to another investor?
Actually, that's been a learning process, but I've tried to save cars that look like they're going to be collectible in the future. Normally the convertibles and two-door hardtops, the popular models of whatever the brand or whatever the make was. And then we try and collect cars that are in as near new condition as we can find them, or that we can make them. And cars that normally we're hoping will have greater value in a few years than they have now. Okay. So it's kind of like a 401k.
So Ardell, this is a 1967 Austin Healey?
Austin Healey, yep, that's right.
Okay.
Those are, in the mid-price range. These are really, really popular cars, and they are doing really well. And they're a great car.
There seems to be more in the European market. It gets a little pricey there.
Some of the high-dollar cars really get out of sight.
And where does this one fall into?
Oh, these are 50, 60,000 range.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's still an affordable car, and it's a great car.
Mm-hmm. Let's jump down to, you got a Porsche here, a 77 Porsche. Tell me what's behind this car and, where this would be in price range today.
This is a 77 Porsche. Actually, it's a 911. It's had some custom work on it. It's got a 929 body conversion on the back of it.
Mm-hmm.
So that's not stock and original, but I really liked that when I bought it 20 years ago.
Okay.
And
this is one of these
and
keepers.
I still quite like it. Yeah.
Do you get it, drive it around, or is it?
A little bit.
Yeah.
I haven't for a few years, but we used to drive that quite a bit. It's just a beautiful car. I mean, the inside of it's just exactly like brand new.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I bet that thing has a pretty good pickup too.
It does. It's just like a bullet coming out of a gun.
There you go. So, and then in the market, on an auction market today, a potential buyer, what price range should they be looking at for a 77 Porsche?
Depends again on the model, but you see those bringing 50 to 100 to 150. They're just all over the board.
And again, it's a focus.
It depends on the model.
Model
exactly.
And the mileage.
Yep.
The two things. So.
Yep. Yeah. These have gone crazy. And actually, the little ones, the 356s, they were the entry level, kind of the bathtub Porsches, they called them back in the 50s and 60s.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they've gone out of the gourd.
Love the body work on that thing too. I can see why you've held on to this thing. So.
Yeah, that's been kind of one of our toys.
So. Just in conclusion as we go through this, but as you look over the course of life and these collectibles that you've done,
it's amazing.
Been a lot of fun.
Yeah, oh yeah, yeah. It's been a great ride.
And you would say that for a person aspiring to move in this direction, the market's still pretty good.
Oh, I think it's phenomenal.
Yeah. So.
Yep.
It seems that when you're collecting, though, you have a certain themes and the types of cars that you focus in on.
I've done it a little different than anybody else that I know. Anybody else that's in the industry that I've had anything to do with, most of them focus on, one specific thing, either a certain year or a certain brand or a certain country, or they kind of get all focused on one thing.
Mm-hmm.
And as you see, we haven't focused. We're just do the whole range.
So you run a dealership here.
Yes.
In Midvale, Utah.
Midvale, Utah.
And so for a person looking at getting a vintage car, how would they find you? You have a website there? Or?
Yeah, we're on our website, abcc2020@yahoo.com. Or they can just drive down to 8452 South State.
All right. Ardell, it's been a pleasure being with you today.
It's been fun. Yep.